Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. I would like to start the session with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. This is a very useful quote, especially while preparing for competitive exams. Never limit your challenges, always try to challenge your limits. When you try to challenge your limits, in a way, you raise your standards. A very useful quote, beyond any doubt. Now, let us go to the editorial. Today's editorial is all about the booster dose, a familiar topic, simple language, very easy to understand. But before we go to the editorial analysis, a quick look at important words. What is the first word for today? Weigh the choices. This is a standard phrase. Weigh the consequences, weigh the choices, weigh the options, another expression. What does it mean? Considering the choices very carefully. When we say weigh the options, means considering the options very carefully. Before you decide on something, you have to weigh the choices or you have to weigh the options. Steady, the first one is a standard phrase. Steady, part of speech adjective, firmly fixed, supported, or balanced, not shaking or moving. Something that is steady is firm. Slump, usually it goes with business context. No business, the prices come down. Then we say a slump in business. In this context, undergo a sudden, severe, or prolonged fall in price, value, or amount. In this context, the number of cases coming down. Precautionary, part of speech adjective, carried out as a precaution, or preventive. Precautionary measures, one example, means what? Preventive measures. That's very good. All these are synonyms. Mutate, part of speech verb, change in form or nature. This goes with the COVID, the virus. Usually it goes with genes, mutation in genes. In this context, the virus, change in form or nature. Boost, we have got many a time. Help or encourage something to increase or improve. Boost the sales means improve the sales. Induce, part of speech verb, succeed in persuading or leading someone to do something. Induce means to cause something to happen or to send some sort of feeling into a person. Induce fear, one combination. Instance, singular, instances, plural. An example or single occurrence of something. It means nothing but example. Roll out, we have got quite many a time. Part of speech, appraisal verb, the act of making something, especially a product or service, available for the first time. Roll out, to make something public. Eschew, an important word. Deliberately avoid using or abstain from. Avoid something. Eschew, an important word. Again, part of speech verb. Inoculate goes with vaccines. Treat with a vaccine to produce immunity against a disease. In a way, inoculate means vaccinate. Gear up for. It takes a preposition for. Means what? Get ready for something. Prepare or equip oneself for something. Rationale, an important word, part of speech noun. A set of reasons or logical basis for a course of action or belief. The reason behind something. What is a rationale, or what is the reason behind something? Emerge, part of speech verb, become apparent or prominent. Apparent means obvious, prominent, important. Mandate, you all know the word mandatory, an official order or commission to do something. Anticipate, we have got many a time. Regard as probable, expect or predict. Anticipate something means what? Predict something. Transmissible diseases, non-transmissible diseases, part of speech adjective. It goes with a disease, obviously, disease or trait, able to be passed on from one person or organism to another. transmissible diseases. Buffer. Buffer can be a noun, it can be a verb. To lessen the shock of or cushion as a verb. Lackluster, an important word. Today, not too many effective words, only three or four. One is eschew and lackluster, lacking in vitality, force, or conviction, uninspired or uninspiring. And spike, we have got many a time to rise or increase suddenly or sharply. Spike in prices or the number of cases, all these. Now, let us go to the editorial. Weighing the choices means what? Considering the choices very carefully and try to think of other combinations, weigh the options, weigh the consequences, weigh the implications. These are the typical combinations. Means what? Consider carefully the options available or think of the choices carefully. What is you cannot decide based on this expression what exactly the editorial talks about. Now let us read the next one, then you get an idea what exactly the editorial talks about. Opening up the third dose for those above 18 years is a positive step. Here you see, whatever you see, something is underlined, words, understand either it is a subject, object, or a phrase or a clause. Here, simply, if you have to use a pronoun, that is a positive step. It is a positive step. Then ask a question what? It stands for what? This is the subject. Opening up the third dose for those above 18 years is a positive step. This is how writers present information. Here, from this, you understand something is a positive step. What is a positive step in this context? Opening up the third dose. Already two doses, a lot of people have taken. Opening up the third dose, and for whom? For those above 18 years, is a positive step. Again, here you have opening up. Some students may think this is a verb, and another verb is over here. But in English, we have two types of verbs according to one classification: finite, non finite. Finite means a verb that has a tense, it has to agree with the subject in person and number. Non finite, no tense, and it doesn't have to agree with the subject in person and number. Opening up, it is a non finite verb. In this sentence, this is a simple sentence. Only one verb is there, a finite verb, that is. As India sees a steady slump in its daily coronavirus count, the center has announced opening up the third or precautionary doses to everyone over 18 years. The same idea it talks about as, and what is the reason opening up? As India sees a steady slump. Steady means what? Firm. And slump, the numbers going down drastically. But usually the word slump goes with business context. There's a slump in business, means no sales at all. As India sees a steady slump in its daily coronavirus count, the main idea of this sentence, the center has announced something. But this is like introduction. As India sees a steady slump in its daily coronavirus count, the center has announced, present perfect tense, announced what? Opening up the third or precautionary doses to everyone over 18 years. The same thing today, the editorial, very simple language, easy to understand. The restriction is that these doses must be the same as the ones administered earlier, and there must be at least a 9-month gap following the second dose, implying that Covishield and Covaxin will comprise almost all of the demand. We have done so many times editorials related to the COVID 19 and also vaccines, and we all know two vaccines are very popular in the sense already a lot of people have taken. One is a Covishield, the other one is Covaxin. Now, when it comes to the third dose, what does the sentence talk about? When it comes to the third dose, it says there are two things to be met. One is the restriction is that the doses must be the same as the one administered earlier. That means either Covishield or Covaxin. And one more condition or stipulation, there must be at least a 9-month gap following the second dose. After the second dose, there should be a gap of 9 months, implying that Covishield and Covaxin, based on these two conditions or stipulations, two things are going to comprise almost all of the demand. One is Covishield, and the other one is Covaxin. Precautionary means what? Carried out as a precaution or preventive measure. The experience of the past 2 years from around the world has shown that the third dose, this is all about the third dose, has only a little additional benefit over two doses in preventing an infection because of the constantly mutating character of the virus. This sentence talks about two things. One, it talks about the use effectiveness of the third dose. On the other hand, it talks about the nature of the virus based on the experience of the past 2 years from around the world. Again, this is important. Past 2 years. Then you have to think of two tenses. One, present perfect, the other one, present perfect continuous. But here you have present perfect. The experience of the past 2 years from around the world has shown something what? That the third dose has only a little additional benefit. And whatever you see in green related to grammar, immediately you have to recollect little, almost nothing or hardly anything, a little, at least to some, the little, something specific or whatever is there. Same thing goes with a few, the few. That you have to recollect. A little benefit when it comes to the third dose, additional benefit over two doses in preventing an infection. Why only a little additional benefit? Because of the constantly mutating character of the virus. Here, mutating character. Mutate means change in form or nature. The virus is always changing. We all know that. Because of that, we have new variants. And because of this always changing character or mutating character, the third dose has only a little additional benefit. But because it helps keep antibody levels boosted, there is one word boosted means what? Help or encourage something to increase or improve. Boost something and increase or encourage something. In this context, increase antibody levels. Then why should we go for the third dose? That question comes up. The answer for that, but because it helps, here it means a third dose. Because it helps keep antibody levels boosted, they are useful in protecting against a severe infection. Antibody levels go up, get increased, useful in protecting against a severe infection. There is a benefit, but may not be substantial, a little. A major aspect of vaccines is a risk of adverse. I should have brought it in red. Adverse means negative. Now he talks about the risk when it comes to vaccination. A major aspect of vaccines is a risk of adverse events following vaccination, and previous experience has suggested that certain vaccines may induce a higher risk of blood clots in younger populations. There is a risk when it comes to vaccines, and experience says that a major aspect of vaccines is a risk of adverse events. Adverse, an important word. What does it mean? Something negative and not favorable. Usually, what happens is goes with reports. Adverse report means what? Negative report. And when it comes to police verification at the time of passport, they use this expression adverse report. Means what? Negative report. Adverse events following vaccination. That means after vaccination, negative events or effects. And previous experience has suggested that certain vaccines may induce a higher risk, not all vaccines, certain vaccines may induce a higher risk of blood clots in younger populations. Blood clots very dangerous, obviously. While these instance means an example or single occurrence, either example or a single occurrence of something. While these instances are extremely limited, in this context, it means the incidents or events or occurrences. While these instances are extremely limited, they become particularly relevant in India given the size of the population and that a large number of people, young and old, have already been exposed to the virus. These are limited, the risk related to vaccination, but when it comes to a country like India, looking at the size of the population, definitely it has to be taken into consideration. That's what the sentence talks about. While these instances are extremely limited, they become particularly relevant in the context of India. They are relevant, and one has to take into consideration. One has to keep it in mind. They become particularly relevant in India. Why do they become relevant in India? Given the size of the population and that a large number of people, young and old, have already been exposed to the virus. Normally, now it talks about the vaccine. Normally, a technical committee of experts, such as a National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, NTAGI, weighs the evidence before recommending an approved vaccine for rollout. But this practice has been effectively eschewed in the context of booster doses as well as earlier decisions to inoculate those below 15. A lengthy sentence, but what does it talk about? It talks about the procedure when it comes to recommending a particular vaccine, and now it has been avoided, eschewed, an important word. Before I talk about the sentence, let us have a look at the words. A rollout means what? The act of making something, especially a product or service, available for the first time, and after that to produce large quantities. Rollout. I think we have got once or twice. Then practice, it is in green. Here, TIC means in the noun form, TISC means the verb form. Then coming to eschew, an important word. Eschew means what? To avoid something, abstain from something. In the context of booster doses, and one more word, inoculate means vaccinate. Now, what does this sentence talk about? Normally, a technical committee of experts, such as a National Technical Advisory Group on Immunization, weighs the evidence. Again, the word weigh, consider the evidence before recommending an approved vaccine for rollout. But this practice, that is the usual practice, but this practice has been effectively eschewed. Means what? This practice, getting the recommendation from NTAGI, has been effectively eschewed, means avoided or prevented, in the context of booster doses, as well as earlier decisions to inoculate those below 15. So there are some exceptions when it comes to the recommendations of that particular committee. Now it talks about the present scenario. The pandemic is far from over, an important expression, far from over. The pandemic is far from over, and reports from several other countries suggest that no country can consider itself immune or safe from emerging variants. There's one word, emerge, become apparent or prominent, to come into existence. Looking at the present scenario, the present situation around the world, the pandemic is far from over. It is not over. This is an important expression. And reports from several other countries suggest that no country can consider itself immune. No country is safe. What is the reason? From emerging variants. New variants are coming up regularly. Now it talks again about the present situation or present scenario. With schools reopened, mask mandates made voluntary. Earlier, wearing a mask mandatory. Mandate means what? An official order or commission to do something, something that is compulsory. Now, mask mandates made voluntary and restrictions on international travel lifted in India. It is reasonable for the center to anticipate a future wave led by a more transmissible variant. Reports of the highly infectious XE variant have already surfaced here, and therefore take steps to buffer against it. Again, a lengthy sentence, but it talks about the present situation. What is it? Now, schools reopened, one thing. Mask mandates made voluntary. Now, it is not mandatory to wear a mask when you go in public. And the third one, restrictions on international travel lifted in India. Because of all these factors, it is reasonable, quite reasonable for the center to anticipate a future wave. Because of this situation, it is quite reasonable, practical for the center to anticipate, predict a future wave led by a more transmissible variant. It talks about a new variant and more transmissible. Another important word. Transmissible means what? It goes with a disease or a trait able to be passed from one person to another person, from one organism to another organism. And therefore, based on that, because of anticipation, this anticipation, take steps to buffer against it. There's another word, buffer. Buffer means what? To lessen the shock of, reduce the impact of the variant, and center has to take steps to buffer against it. However, there is no public information on whether studies have been done to establish if administering a different vaccine as a third dose is better at boosting antibodies than repeating a vaccine. Now, here we have a choice when it comes to the third dose. This sentence talks about that. What is the choice? Either we can repeat the same vaccine for the third dose, either Covaxin, but here there are two vaccines already I have read out, or that's another option, go for a new vaccine. There is nothing has been done about that. However, there is no public information on whether studies have been conducted to establish if administering a different vaccine as a third dose is better. We are not quite sure at boosting antibodies and repeating a vaccine. This ideally ought to have been a major area of research for the center. It, editorial opines this should have been taken into consideration. This ideally ought to. It has become outdated, but still in usage over here, this part of the world. Should, ought to, two important helping verbs. They have the same function. What is a function? They are used to advise or suggest someone. Old English ought to formal situations, or formal English should informal English. But current English, formal or informal, we use should. Ought to has become outdated. This ideally ought to have been a major area of research for the center. Another aspect that bears a closer look is progress on vaccines other than Covaxin and Covishield. Now, research is going on when thinking of the third vaccine or a different vaccine. Another aspect that bears a closer look is progress on vaccines other than Covaxin and Covishield. The Serum Institute of India appears to be gearing up for an important expression, gear up for the exam, means what? Get ready. Gearing up for large volumes of not Covishield but Covax, a new vaccine. Covaxin, following the World Health Organization's recommendation to pause exports. If you guys remember, last week I did one editorial related to pausing exports of a particular vaccine. Recommendation to pause exports pending an upgrade of its production facilities is also unlikely to see fresh stocks anytime soon. It may not happen. How does the editorial end? Both vaccines, in fact, will be available at discounted rates in private facilities, private hospitals. Demand is currently lackluster. Obviously, now the number has come down. You can't expect the demand. Demand is currently, at present, lackluster. Means what? Not inspiring, uninspiring. You can also lacking in vitality, force, or conviction. In this context, lackluster response means not that enthusiastic. But were it to spike, this is an important expression. If it were to spike, actual sentence, but when we drop the word if, then we have to use a clause in interrogative form. But were it to spike, if it were to spike, will supply be adequate? If the demand goes up, then will the supply be adequate? Question mark. The center needs to be more transparent about the rationale guiding its vaccine policy. It ends on the note that the center needs to be more transparent about what the rationale behind means the reason set of reasons behind guiding its vaccine policy. This is all about the editorial, a familiar topic, simple language, not too many words. And what are the possible questions, comprehension point of view? What is this editorial about? The center has announced opening up the third of precautionary doses based on what? What is the reason behind? What has the previous experience related to vaccine suggested? Keywords. What do reports from several other countries suggest? The report suggests something. What do they suggest? What appears to be gearing up for large volumes of not Covishield but Covovax? So easy to answer based on the keywords. This is all about the editorial and the questions. Let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. But before that, please download Murthy's English app. These are the features. Have a quick look. And there's a course for bank exams. So many bank exams are coming up, going to come entire year, almost till December. You're going to have exams. This is the right time to start. You can consider or think of this course covers prelims, mains, descriptive, all the dimensions that go with bank exams. So very useful course. Let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. First five questions as usual. Error location. Please read the first one and try to spot the error. I cannot answer at this stage. Prasad's, there's a question. So, very good. Existing students and alumnus. You don't have to go beyond. If you are sure about the two words, one is alumni or alumni, and before that, I would like to write alumnus. What is the difference? Alumnus is singular, and alumni or alumni is plural. Here we have to use a noun in the plural form, not in the singular form. Based on that, alumnus is not correct. It should be. You can say alumni or alumni. Either way, it is correct. Very good. Nouns of Latin and Greek origin, they don't take S or ES like the regular nouns. And many of these nouns are very important. Nouns like criterion, phenomenon, alumnus, memorandum. So many are there. Syllabus, syllabi, matrix, matrices. All those nouns you have to recollect. A lengthy sentence, read very carefully, meticulously, and try to spot the error. Yes, syllabi, memoranda, criteria, very good, Bhavana. When you write during the live session, you will be able to remember. That is also good. Prasad, your question. See, it all depends. Focus more on your preparation at this stage and try to get selected. After the selection, you can take the call. You can decide what to do, what not to do. At this stage, don't think of ifs and buts. Go ahead with your preparation. That is my suggestion. And try to focus more on your preparation. Where is the error? Yes, radius, radii, very good. Uday Kumar, Prasad's also, and so many students, they have written other nouns. That is good. The environs of all these places, surrounding areas, reverberated, an important word, means echoed with chants of Jai Shri Ram by thousands of Ram Bhakts found waving saffron flags in the scorching heat. Summer, peak summer, we say scorching heat, and peak winter, we say biting cold. Those two expressions you have to recollect. I don't think so. I don't think there is a word. Expression, you mean, not a word. Perhaps I'm not quite sure. Very good. Who is this? Michael. I appreciate that. There is no error whatsoever. Yakub also. And Uday Kumar. Very good. And Thapa. Wonderful. Sentence is correct. Contextually, grammatically. Perfect. No error. A team of HAL officials comprising general manager, all these have called on Minister for SC Development, Kopula Ishwar. So where is the error? Please go to question number 3. Very good. What is a subject? Team. Team is a collective noun. The moment you come across words like committee, jury, team, staff, you have to become alert and read the sentence meticulously. After team, there is a collective noun. Collective noun. There is a phrase. All these words not important, put them in brackets. This ability is very important. Then you ask the question. The sentence does not talk about any division. Then collective nouns usually take a singular verb, a singular pronoun. Only if the sentence denotes division, we have to use a plural verb, a plural pronoun. But here, there is no division. So based on that, we have to use a singular verb. A team has called on. Call on means visit. So have is not correct. Has is correct. What is this about? It is about subject verb agreement. Please go to question number 4. Very good, Uday. It's always better. Please don't ask questions related to the app on this platform. If at all you wish to ask at the fag end of the session. I will answer. No, you cannot view on the computer, only your mobile. Very good. This is largest group of Sri Lankan nationals to have fled, means to run away, to escape, fled to India since the outbreak of the economic crisis. Here, largest superlative form. Before that, we have to use a definite article the. And what is this question about article? This is the largest group of Sri Lankan nationals. Then it is correct. The incomparable architectural splendor, beauty, was created during the regime, the government in power, usually authoritarian one, of Kakatiya King Ganapati Deva some 800 years ago by excellent skilled artists and architects of his time. A lengthy sentence, but easy to spot the error. Yes, Sujata, article related. It's always better if you write what it is about. That helps in the long run. That too, during the live session, you write. That helps in the definitely helps in the long run. Where is since? Question number 5. Are you talking about question number 5? No, no. Regime of Kakatiya king. Nothing wrong with that. No, no. Reign, regime, rule. Please mention the question number. No, no, nothing wrong with Kakatiya king. You don't have to use a definite article the. No error over there. Go beyond that. Here, the incomparable architectural splendor, no problem, was created during the regime of, no problem, Kakatiya king Ganapati Deva some 800 years ago. Will you say by excellent skilled artists or by excellently skilled artists? Here we cannot use adjective form. We have to use a adverb form. Excellently skilled artists. Not excellent skilled. That does not make any sense. You have to say excellently skilled artists. So this question is related to word forms Only a few students, no one has got it right, I suppose, or one or two students, a lot of students could not get it right. I have been telling you guys quite often, especially bank exams, they ask questions related to word forms. Here we cannot use an adjective form, we have to use an adverb form. Excellently skilled, wonderfully stated, beautifully demonstrated. Have you got it? Excellent, only one. After that, you cannot use skilled. Excellent artist, correct. Excellent artist, perfect. Skilled artist, perfect. Excellent skilled artist does not make any sense. Don't go back, Manohar. Question number 2 now. When I say there's an error in a particular part, that is the error. No point in going back. Excellently performed. He has performed in an excellent manner. You cannot say something like beautiful, wonderful. There should be punctuation. Here you don't see any punctuation. Idea is excellently skilled. Please go to phrase replacement. We have similarly come against problems during the course of our work and have solved them. We have come across similar problems. Very good. Similarly come against, not correct. Similarly come forward, no. Come round, not at all correct. To come along similar does not make any sense. What is the answer? We have come across similar problems during the course of our work and have solved them. Then it is correct. Before leaving, without you forgetting to compliment them for their good work. And this set phrase replacement, the first 5 questions, my questions from the Hindu paper, and I don't want to tell the Hindu paper, international magazines, exact source, but this particular set, phrase replacement from previous year's papers. Yes, that is redundancy. Come across is sudden, accidental. You cannot say suddenly come across, accidentally. That's true. What is the answer? Question number 2, phrase replacement. Before leaving, do not forget or don't forget. Before leaving, without you forgetting, not at all correct. Not forgetting, no, you have forgot. All these options easy to eliminate. Before leaving, don't forget to close the door. Don't forget to inform or compliment them for their good work. Answer is the third option. A lot of students have chosen the second option. No, no. Third option. Do not forget. Tired of being harassed by the goons, I finally called the police and complained. Tired of being harassed, troubled by the goons, unwanted elements of society. So, where is the error? Question number 3. Tired of being harassed by the goons, I finally called the police and complained. Very good. Who is this? Bharat. Within no time. Tired of being harassed, tired of being questioned, tired of doing this, tired of going there, tired of asking so many times. All these are standard expressions you got to know, and nothing wrong. Contextually, grammatically, flawless sentence. Perfect. One of the base laws of nature is that adaptability is the price of survival. To be able to survive, you have to change yourself, adapt yourself. And there's a popular saying, not popular saying, a standard said by Charles Darwin. And the concept is survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. Please go to question number 4. Impeccable, flawless, perfect, related words. Some of the students are very good at synonyms. I really appreciate. And that too during the live session, spontaneously, Based on one word, you're able to recollect the synonyms. That's really great, highly appreciable. Base laws is nothing like base laws. Basis laws, again, not correct. Basic law, no, we are talking about laws. So here, law is not correct. Law, we have to use the noun in the plural form. Based on that, one of the basic laws, and one more reason why we have to use a plural noun, we have the phrase one of the. One of the. There are three rules. In all the three rules, noun is in the plural form. One of the students, one of the managers, one of the books. So here, basis laws not correct. One of the basic laws of nature is that adaptability is a price of survival. After a great deal of effort, she finally managed to success in her venture. After a great deal of effort, a great deal of effort, an important expression. After a great deal of effort, she finally managed to success or managed to succeed. She finally managed. You cannot use managing. You cannot use manage. The verb should be in the past. She finally managed to do what? To succeed in her venture. Very good. Answer is the second option. Now you have five phrasal verbs highlighted. You have to choose options. From the options, the exact meaning, appropriate meaning. What is the first one over here? Things have worked out quite well for us. Work out. Something has worked out. Something always works out. Managed to succeed. To succeed. Succeed is a verb. Here, to succeed, the verb in the basic form or infinitive with to. Succeed, succeeded, succeeded. Success is a noun. Succeed is a verb. That you have to know for sure. Things have worked out quite well for us. Worked out means what? To develop in a successful way. Answer is a fourth option. Work out. I intend that you shall take over the business. Take over means what? Take control of something. Answer is the third option. Take over the position. Take over the business. The contract was drawn up last year. Was drawn up, past tense passive voice. Draw, drew, drawn. Draw has many meanings. It also goes with water. Draw water from a well. And draw goes with painting. But in this context, draw up, that is a phrasal verb. What does it mean? Prepare something in writing, especially an official document. Answer is the fifth option. I'm going to have to knuckle down to some serious study. From the context, you can make out knuckle down means what? Start working harder. What are you left with? If he does not stop working so hard, he will burn himself out. While preparing for competitive exams, some candidates, some students burn themselves out. Burnout means what? Be extremely tired. We should not take anything beyond the limit. Everything should be within the limit. Don't stretch something too far, not advisable. Too good is too bad. There's a saying in English. Exactly. Sweat it out, slog, work very hard. We have five questions based on idioms. The first one, think quickly and make sensible decisions. Not knowing about something to cause one to become arrogant, sound familiar, not in a position to prove that you're right. What is the first one? Think quickly and make sensible decisions. Answer is the fifth option. Very good. Think quickly and make sensible decisions. What does it mean? What is the idiomatic expression? Keep one's wits about oneself or one. Not knowing about something. Be in the dark. I have been kept in the dark. I am in the dark. I was in the dark. Any tense can be used. Answer is fourth option. To cause one to become arrogant, usually people become arrogant after achieving success. Then what do you say? The success has gone into his head. To go to one's head. Answer is the first option. Something sounds familiar, means rings a bell. Answer is the second option. Not in a position to prove that you are right. Not you don't have a leg to stand on. Answer is the third one. I don't have a leg to stand on means I'm not in a position to prove that I'm right. Has anyone got all the five correct? Now let us go to the last slide, enrichment point of view. Editorial vocabulary. Yes, oblivious. Very good, Madhav. That's a very good word. Oblivious of something, oblivious of the surroundings. Today, when people use the mobiles, they tend to become oblivious of the surroundings. Slump, it could be a noun, it could be a verb. What does it mean? Sudden fall in price, but in this context, number, the cases. The number, singular verb, a number, plural verb. Mutate, verb, mutation, noun. Means what? Change in form or shape. Answer is E. Boost, it is a verb. It can be a noun, but what does it mean? Increase sharply? No. Help to increase, encourage to progress. Answer is G. Buffer, it could be a noun, it could be a verb. Cushion, provide the cushion. Ability to take the shock. Eschew, an important word, do remember. Part of speech verb. Avoid something, abstain from something, abstain from, avoid. I is the answer. Gear up for. Gear up is a phrasal verb. Gear up for a phrase, but I'll write phrasal verb. What does it mean? Get ready for something. Rationale means what? Noun, part of speech, noun. The set of reasons or a set of reasons. Oh, I'm sorry. Set of reasons. H is the answer. When you take a decision, there's some reason. We also use the word rationality. What is the rationality behind that? Anticipate, obviously, verb, it's a regular verb. Anticipated means what? Predict. Lackluster performance means uninspiring. Another important word, adjective. Answer, F is the answer. Uninspiring, not enthusiastic. You can also recollect lukewarm response means no enthusiasm. Spike could be a noun, could be a verb. As a verb, increase sharply. Answer is A. That's all for today from today's editorial. An easy one, familiar one, important. Anything related to COVID 19 because it has made a devastating impact around the world. Millions of people have suffered. It is important. You may get as a passage in prelims or mains. Very important. Try to have all the lexical terms, word combinations at your fingertips. I appreciate those, Yakub, and I don't know how many of you. If you say, so I got all the 10 correct parts of speech, words, meanings, that is highly appreciable. What is the reason? All these are editorial words, not easy. If you say all the 10 correct, that's wonderful. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.